Hey y'all, so this is gonna go along with the stolen land question mark videos that I got. This Mexican senator or Senate President Gerardo Fernandez Noroña, I guess I say it, is now calling for Mexico to reclaim parts of the United States, citing an 1830 map, arguing that Mexicans in the Southwest never left their homeland, and saying a border wall should be built on Mexico's terms. This follows uh, President Sheinbaum's call for mass protests in the United States. This is ridiculous. Let's see if I see if it's in English. I don't know. Oh,
Cuando decía el presidente electo Donald Trump estaba 16 días de tomar protesta asumir el cargo.
oh, sorry.
Si hacemos el muro, si lo pagamos, pero lo hacemos con el mapa de México en 1830. Este es lo que era Estados Unidos en 1830. Y esto era parte de México, no era todo México. Si ustedes pueden ver, quizás un tercio, mínimo una cuarta parte del territorio norteamericano era parte de México hasta 1846. Hemos despojado de estos territorios. Nosotros estábamos.
Okay, well, anyway, he's trying to cite that Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, at least the map before that. But here, when we looked at this, the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo were signed on February 2nd, 1848 by the United States and Mexico at the Villa del Guadalupe Hidalgo and ended an American-Mexican War, 1846 to 1848. In the terms and provisions of the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, Mexico ceded Upper California and New Mexico to the United States that covered 525,000 square miles for a payment of $15 million. So let's see. And then hold on, let me look at this one. Then the annexation of Texas, the Mexican American War, and the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. During his tenure, U.S. President James K. Polk oversaw the greatest territorial expansion of the United States to date. Polk accomplished this through the annexation of Texas in 1845, the negotiation of the Oregon Treaty with Great Britain in 1846, and the conclusion of the Mexican American War in 1848, which ended with the signing and ratification of the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo in 1848. The Battle of Veracruz, okay. These events brought within the control of the United States the future states of Texas, California, Nevada, New Mexico, Arizona, Utah, Washington, and Oregon, as well as portions of what would later become Oklahoma, Colorado, Kansas, Wyoming, and Montana, following Texas's successful War of Independence against Mexico in 1836. President Martin Van Buren refrained from annexing Texas after the Mexicans threatened war. Accordingly, while the United States extended diplomatic recognition to Texas, it took no further action concerning annexation until 1844, when President John Tyler restarted negotiations with the Republic of Texas. His efforts culminated on April 12th in a treaty of annexation, an event that caused Mexico to sever diplomatic relations with the United States. Tyler, however, lacked the votes in the Senate to ratify the treaty, and it was defeated by a wide margin in June. Shortly before he left office, Tyler tried again, this time through a joint resolution of both houses of Congress. With the support of President-elect Polk, Tyler managed to get the joint resolution passed on March 1st, 1845, and Texas was admitted to the United States on December 29th. So they have no claims. Yeah, and then this guy, I pulled up about the Mexican president calling for protest, but this says, whoa, following the Mexican president's call for protests in the United States, Senator Eric Schmidt will be introducing legislation to impose a 15% tax on all remittances of Mexico. I'm introducing legislation to quadruple the proposed remittance tax from 3.5% to 15%. America is not the world's piggy bank, and we don't take kindly to threats. And this would crush Mexico's economy. Well, I mean, they're already not thinking clearly by calling for more mobilization and protests. We've already got enough problems here, and it's a lot of her people that are here anyway. So I'm just not sure if she really wants to go there. Is this breaking? Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum calls for U.S. protests. Is that an act of war? I would say so. I mean, is she going to send more people over here? I mean, and Tim Cass is Tim Pool. He's like, I'm shocked to hear the president of Mexico calling for an escalation of riots in this country. Donald Trump should publicly call out the Mexican president for peddling or meddling in U.S. protests with Michael Malice, I guess, whoever wrote this article, maybe, or he's got somebody on there. And then the president of Mexico is a complete and utter hypocrite for calling on Mexican Americans to protest in the United States. Want to know the wildest part about that? It's that the exact same behavior is illegal in Mexico. Yeah. Oh my gosh, yes. Let's see what this says. Yep, Article 33 of the Mexican Constitution literally says foreigners aren't allowed to engage in political activities, no protests, no demonstrations, no nada. They consider it interference in national affairs. And if you do, you can be detained and deported. So, just to break it down, the Mexican president is telling Mexicans in America to protest in a foreign country, but she won't even let foreigners do the same thing in her own country. She's calling on illegal immigrants in the U.S. to protest deportations, but if you did that in Mexico, you'd be deported on the spot. This is peak hypocrisy, telling people to do in America what you don't even allow in your own backyard. And now it makes total sense why the Democrats and liberals love her so much. She's just like them. Yeah. I mean, just get them all out at this point. I mean, there's no reason for them to be here. Not at all. Let me see here. I say open that up. Let's see. So Mexican president calling for protests in the U.S., but foreigners are prohibited from protesting in Mexico. Okay. Let's see. Mexico's president, Claudia Sheinbaum, is now calling for protests in the U.S. If necessary, we'll mobilize. We don't want taxes on remittances from our fellow countrymen from the U.S. to Mexico. Well, then take them back. What the hell is she talking about? They're not your fellow countrymen when they're here in the United States illegally. Okay. The Mexican president has called on Mexicans to protest in the United States. This is so ironic because Americans are forbidden to protest in Mexico. Do we have to tolerate foreigners coming into our house and telling us how to run it? No, we don't. It says, I guess they ask, does Mexico allow foreigners to protest politically? No, Mexico does not allow foreigners to participate in political protests. According to Article 33 of the Mexican Constitution, foreigners are prohibited from, well, you saw the other part, protesting and all that stuff. All right, garbage. The Mexican president is demanding protests so the country can continue to leech off of our economy. It's a hostile power. I don't know, embajado, whatever. I guess ambassador, but it's Spanish. The violent protests in LA do not represent the proud and hardworking Mexican people we know and respect. Our actions protect all communities and uphold the rule of law. Mexico is our partner, and the ties between our nations run deep. Well, then don't call for freaking protests in our country. Don't allow your stupid president to say that kind of stuff. It says, interesting, the president of Mexico is calling for protests or riots in the U.S. Meanwhile, Mexican nationals, or at least people who want to be, are rioting in Los Angeles. Is there something bigger going on here? Yeah, I mean, is this over the tariffs? Is this, I mean, they're actually fixing to blow up like diplomatic relations for real. It says the Mexican president is calling for violent riots. They call them protests, but they are riots. Trump is on top of it. I wonder how he will respond to this lady. I hope he does something not deadly drastic, but just something drastic like put more tariffs on or something, cut off something to their country monetarily. Okay, we have an incompetent Governor Newsom, and Mayor Bass, who are, as usual, just look at how they handled the fires, and now they're very slow permitting disaster. Federal permitting is complete, unable to handle the task. These radical left protests by instigators and often paid troublemakers will not be tolerated. Also, from now on, masks will not be allowed to be worn at the, I guess, the protests. The Mexican president is calling for violent. No one's talking about it. Really? Yeah. Sheinbaum. Okay. You do know that the Mexican president called for protests in the U.S., right? Yeah. Hopefully somebody's doing something about it. I'm sure they're trying to figure out what she's doing. But says the Battle of Los Angeles is rigged June 9th, 2025, in response to Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum's call for protests across the U.S., which some viewed as a potential act of war. Violent unrest erupted in downtown Los Angeles, with protesters clashing with police on the 101 freeway, vandalizing Waymo self-driving cars and burning American flags while waving Mexican ones. President Trump federalized 2,000 California National Guard troops and activated 500 Marines to support ICE operations, protect federal property, and restore order. Representative Maxine Waters' demand for citizenship for rioters, and Senator Eric Schmitt's proposed 15% remittance tax to Mexico intensified political tensions. As Mexico's economy, reliant on 64.7 billion in migrant remittances, faced potential devastation, contrasting narratives emerged, with Kamala Harris and Governor Gavin Newsom calling the protests peaceful, while LAPD Chief Jim McDonnell admitted police were overwhelmed by violent acts, including Antifa's use of projectiles. The riots, allegedly fueled by foreign interests like China through groups called, or like Chirla and PSL, funded by millions from government grants and, figures like Neville Singham, spread to San Francisco and New York City, raising fears of a nationwide insurrection. A loud minority urged the Trump administration to target the root causes, including influential figures and organizations, warning that without decisive action, the unrest could escalate into widespread violence and billions in damages by the middle of the summer 2025. Yeah. Breaking Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum is now publicly calling for protests in the U.S. as ICE conducts immigration raids throughout Los Angeles. Sounds like war to me. I'm just kind of sitting back watching this because it's like I know how it works. I mean, I value the 2A, so it's kind of like I know my responsibility as far as really what I should do, but I'm not gonna do anything unless it comes to my doorstep, I guess. I mean, I don't want to get involved, I guess you could say, unless it comes right to my doorstep or my area. Just because I know how it works. You go out there, you try to help people, you try to stave off some of these rioters, protesters, and you're the one that go to jail because we see how the criminals are treated. And then, people that are trying to help out, like that Daniel Penny, the Good Samaritan types, always get in trouble. So it's almost like it's not even worth helping. Okay, well, anyway, let's go on. It says, after seeing the way illegals react to enforcement of the law and the Mexican president calling for them to protest, when in our own country, or in her own country, foreigners are arrested for doing the same, I see more reason that illegals need to be deported. Look how easy it is for another country to take over the U.S. this way. Yeah. Mexico's president is outright threatening America, calling for protests in America. This is concerning Mexico's president. If necessary, we will mobilize. They've already mobilized. They've already called up their people. I mean, yeah, this is ridiculous. Oh boy. Anyway, this is crazy. Let's see. What is this? I don't want to click on it, but it says after calling for Mexicans in the U.S. to mobilize in protest of a proposed remittance tax, Mexican President Sheinbaum quickly backtracked amid explosive riots in Los Angeles. But the damage is already done. And then, anyway, it says the Battle of Los Angeles is rigged, or did I already read this? Um, yeah, yeah, Karen Bass. This is fine. Let's watch some of this. This is crazy.
We can't be intimidated. We got to get the people out. We got to get the elected officials out. We got to resist them.
Yeah, this is fine. It's supposed to be peaceful. That's ridiculous.
All you got to do to defeat this thing is to admit there's no way out of this but to stand up to it. Police, both local and federal, have been put in this position as the bad guys.
Yes.
Drawn out after putting up with months of all sorts of provocation. There's so many people that either are operatives or aren't smart that are fake populists and like, Homa's not doing enough of a job. They ought to be out these demonstrations cracking skulls. No, it's a trap. Homa's doing the right thing. They know it's a trap. They're going to escalate to burning and killing and stealing and looting to make them come out because they then have to. And then when our defense forces come out, they are going to be set up with a false flag. They are going to mow down hundreds of people and blame our duly elected constitutional federal government.
I'm overwhelmed as far as the number of people out there engaged in this type of activity and the type of things that they're doing.
And I mean, just be real. This lays at the feet of the Democrat Party and Joe Biden because they opened the damn border up. This is where it started. And now Trump is having to come in and clean up. And then he looks like the bad guy because he's sending these people back home because they came here and didn't go through the right process. The people that have done it the right way, they're going to be punished because people are going to be like antitrust those types of people from now on. I mean, because of the people that are here doing all of this. And you know, some of it is the stupid white liberals. I mean, even Malcolm X said that the white liberal is dangerous. So you tell me that they really care about you? No, they're just out here just to cause a problem. And they don't really give a crap about the people. It's just so they can get out here and just be anarchists. I mean, this is ridiculous, guys. I mean, I don't know how y'all feel about it. Yes, you're supposed to be able to, protest, but not tear up, not riot, not burn, loot. What does the looting have to do with anything? That's some of that stuff just draws the line between anarchy and just being able to protest your government. You can be unhappy about something, but you don't get a right to tear stuff up. Let's finish watching this. I mean, it's just
they'll
interesting.
Take backpacks, and the backpack will have a cinder block in it. They have a hammer, and they'll break up the cinder block and use that, pass it around to throw at officers, to throw at cars, and throw at other people.
Yeah, and it's funny that stuff was sitting out there.
Tough guy, I don't give a damn, but I care about my community.
No, you don't.
The hell are they doing?
No, he doesn't care about his community. They wouldn't have allowed that state to become a damn sanctuary state if he cared about the community. And allowing all these illegals to come here because they say, oh, they're going to be the one farming and they're going to be the one doing the contract and they're going to be the one basically working in hospitality in the hotels. Who's going to clean your hotel? That's what Jasmine Crockett said. They're all constantly talking about the farmers, the farmers. Okay, guys, if you paid Americans a living wage, I'm sure they would do the job and had them on a regular schedule and not treat them like a damn slave.
These guys need to grow up. They need to stop. And we need to push back. And I'm sorry to be so clear, but
I'm sorry to be so clear.
Is exhausting.
Yeah.
So Tom, arrest me.
With the little shoulder things.
It could turn very volatile if you move law enforcement in there in the wrong way and turn what is just a bunch of people having fun watching cars burn
Wow.
into a massive confrontation.
We can't
It's fun to watch cars burn. Are you serious? I mean, do we not have anybody with the brain? I mean, the TDS is this strong, the hatred for Donald Trump is this bad that you say it's fun. The bias or media bias, whoever the hell said that, it's fun to watch cars burn. Really? That's somebody else's property. That's not yours. They're tearing up their own communities, guys. I mean, what the hell? Oh my God, these people are so stupid. It's just mind
have
blowing.
this in our city. Los Angeles is a city of immigrants where 50% of the population is Latino. A percentage of the populations are from Asian countries and from all over the world. If immigration raids had not happened here, we would not have the disorder that went on last night. I will tell you that it is peaceful now.
This is about a global struggle against imperialism and capitalism. Yeah. All of that is happening in the context of where we now stand is stolen, occupied Mexico.
No, it's not. It was purchased. It was purchased. Money exchanged hands. You signed on the dotted line. Oh boy. These people are just
ambassador,
idiots.
legal hatchet man, Norm Eisen, he called the Trump administration a autocratic regime, and we have tools to displace autocratic regimes around the world in people-powered revolutions. And this was the man who basically spearheaded nearly every lawfare push against Trump world for the past 8 years. Everything from the Trump impeachment to the J6 impeachment, sued the Trump administration hundreds of times, and he was the former U.S. ambassador to the Czech Republic for President Obama, and even wrote a playbook basically on how to orchestrate color revolutions against populist movements that were rising in Europe while he was at the Brookings Institution just a few years ago. And he's openly calling on live television to take that same playbook for overthrowing foreign governments.
And I think that's what this thing is, the democracy playbook, preventing and reversing democratic backsliding. I don't know what democratic backsliding is, but whatever. Oh my goodness. Anyway, let me go back. Where was I at here?
And to find a way to implement it here.
You're going to jail, bro. What's the matter? I'm not harassing him. I'm asking him questions.
Meet the most influential power couple you've never heard. The bride, director of protest movement Code Pink, has a long history in extremist left-wing public activism. The groom, though a multi-millionaire software mogul, is a radical Maoist who cut his teeth affiliating with various radical Marxist-Leninist groups in Detroit. But why should we care about the eccentricities of a far-left millionaire and his activist wife? Because they are marshalling their considerable resources and networks to the bidding of some of the most anti-Western forces on Earth, and to cause chaos around the world.
Congratulations to all the absolute geniuses out there in LA attacking federal agents. All that blue no matter who garbage you've been brainwashed with, that just don't matter no more. Because you're a felon now. You can't vote, you can't own a gun, you can't even get a decent job in most cases. All because you want to look tough in front of an IC.
Trump came out and said, we're not bending the knee. In a new statement, we're going to double down federal forces, including the Marines. Because you got a communist, globalist, deep state uprising that is happening right now.
Yeah, that's pretty bad, guys. Anyway. Oh my goodness, this is just spiraling, I guess. But it is what it is. I guess we'll see how it shakes out in the next few days. But anyway, I will talk to y'all later. Have a great afternoon. See y'all. Bye.